Thank you for listening to the Business Blast podcast. So for all my listeners out there that have been wanting to do your own podcast, I'd like to introduce to you Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. So before I found Anchor, I had never actually done a podcast because all the research that I had gathered made it seem very complex. Then I found Anchor, and Anchor makes podcasting extremely simple. So if you want to do your own podcast, go to anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Nick Britton with us. He has served multiple positions in his career. However, being a preschool teacher was one of the greatest. He owns 3 businesses and has written 4 books. So welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. We'll dive into the first one. The first question I have for you, Nick, is what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Great question. I truly believe that, my story is very unique because I share that I was a preschool teacher. And before then, I played 4 years of college football. I went to a military academy. When you think of a preschool teacher, you always thought of, a 60-year-old Mr. Rogers looking guy. And I was 6'2", 23 years old, 260 pounds, playing with kids in the mud. And all those experiences as a teacher led me to where I am right now, which is I own a couple businesses, written some books, and that those experiences as a teacher led me to who I am today.
And what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
The biggest thing, as I speak about in my book, everything that we need to succeed, we have naturally. Whether that's determination, whether that's the courage to face your fears. These are all things that along the way, maybe as a child growing up, you had all abilities to truly be successful for whatever success looks like for you. And all you have to do is just hold yourself accountable and tap into that.
And what's your best piece of overall business advice, so not necessarily industry specific?
My business advice, there's so much. Biggest thing is be smart with your time. Understand that there's really is, I have 24 hours a day, you have 24 hours a day, and how you utilize that time is going to dictate your levels of success. And then that's the difference between highly successful people and the average person.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh man, I did a lot of education. I'm not against education, but I do have 2 bachelor's and a master's degree. And as a business owner, I don't think I've utilized those degrees. And I don't wish I went to college. I don't regret going to college. I regret not pursuing my entrepreneur journeys while in school. I waited till afterwards. The education no one would ever take away from me, but I wasted time.
And
frankly,
in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
The key to happiness. I'm a new father. On a personal note, we have a 5-month-old baby.
Congrats.
If you asked me this question 6 months ago, it would have been totally different. But happiness goes hand in hand with my why. And that is, I want to be able to provide for my family at a ridiculous level that I was never able to have. And while doing that, I want to be there for my family. So happiness for me is, coming home to people you love, your loved ones, and waking up every day and doing something that you love to do. There's nothing better than that.
And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
The first book I read always stands out to me is Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that's where, I always kind of thought that way. But seeing those diagrams in that book, I remember crystal clear 10, 12 years ago when I first read that book. I something went off in my head that, I need to make my money make more money for me. And that lesson is so true today.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote. I don't even know where to begin. I follow a lot of Grant Cardone. I'm lucky enough to have met him several times. And just his philosophy of the 10X philosophy of, multiply your goals by 10X. It's kind of a movement. It's huge right now. So that's really just those, the number 10 and the letter X has really been my motivator for the past 3 or 4 years.
Love it, man. And I live down in Miami, so I'm about 20 minutes south of his office, actually.
Man, I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now.
Oh, very cool, dude.
Small world.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. I'm a huge fan of Grant's as well. Last question I have for you before we let you go is, where is the best place to find and or connect with you online?
Yes, I'm all over social media. Right now, Instagram, I believe, is the hottest social media, and you can find me at NJ_Britton. But I'm on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. I just want to connect with people. That's my goal. That's my purpose, is to just build connections with other people.
Awesome, brother. Thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.